Introduction: the one thought that gives you power. How much of your day do you truly control? Think about it. From the moment you wake, how often do you find yourself reacting rather than choosing? An email arrives and your mood is suddenly spoiled. Someone in traffic cuts you off and your body floods with anger. You think back on a mistake you made 5 years ago and you feel that same hot flush of shame. The news cycle dictates your anxiety. Another person's opinion dictates your self-worth. We live in a constant state of reaction. We feel like we are at the mercy of our circumstances, at the mercy of our own unpredictable emotions, at the mercy of other people's actions and the weight of our own past. It is a draining, exhausting way to live. It is the common feeling of being a passenger in your own life. You feel tossed by the waves, but you are not steering the ship. This is the default state for most of humanity. It is the path of least resistance. We believe, often unconsciously, that our peace, our happiness, and our success are dependent on what happens out there. We blame our past for our present. We blame our boss for our stress. We blame our families for our habits. We have 1,000 perfectly logical justifications for why we feel the way we feel. And in every justification, in every single excuse, we give away our power. We become masters of explanation, but slaves to a life we did not consciously choose. This is the definition of helplessness. But what if I told you that this entire prison is built on a foundation of sand? What if I told you there is a single simple thought, a core realization that, once you truly understand it and practice it, changes everything? I am not speaking of a complex philosophical theory. I am speaking of a practical, immediate, and powerful tool. It is the one thought that takes you from that helpless passenger and puts you firmly in the driver's seat. It is the thought that is the foundation of all personal power. It is the source code of all genuine freedom, all self-respect, and all lasting discipline. This thought does not mean you can control the weather. It does not mean you can control what other people say or do. It means you will finally stop letting them control you. When you truly integrate this thought, the world outside of you does not necessarily change. The angry emails will still come. The traffic will still be there. People will still be unpredictable. What changes profoundly is your relationship to all of it. The world will no longer have the power to destabilize you. You will move from being the effect to being the cause. This is the pivot point, the one realization that separates a reactive life from a conscious, chosen life. To get there, we must be systematic. We cannot just wish for this change. We must understand the mechanism of our own minds. So, over the next 30 minutes, I have a clear 3-part plan for you. First, we will diagnose the reactive loop, the default mental habit that keeps us all trapped. We must see the bars of the cage clearly before we can find the door. Second, I will reveal the one thought that breaks this loop. I will give you the key that unlocks the door. And third, and most importantly, I will give you a practical 3-step method to start applying this thought and change your life, starting today. This is not just for listening. This is for doing. If you are tired of being a victim of your circumstances, if you are ready to reclaim your power and to finally take the wheel, then give me your full attention. Let us begin. Part 1. The default setting, living in the reactive loop. To understand how to take control of your life, you must first understand why you feel so out of control. It is not a personal failure. It is not a weakness of your character. It is a function of your design. Every human being is born with a default setting, a factory-installed operating system. This operating system was not designed for happiness, for fulfillment, or for peace. It was designed for one thing: survival. Your brain, at its most fundamental level, is a survival machine. For millions of years, its primary job was to scan the environment for threats and opportunities and to react instantly. See a predator? Feel fear and run. See food? Feel hunger and eat. See a threat from another tribe? Feel anger and fight. There was no time for careful consideration. The human who paused to reflect was the human who was eaten. The human who reacted survived. We have inherited that brain. We live in a world of social media and email notifications, but we are running on ancient software. This ancient software operates on a very simple, very powerful formula. It is the formula that governs the lives of billions of people every single day. The formula is this: stimulus leads to immediate reaction. That is the reactive loop. A stimulus, an event in the world occurs, and like a switch being flipped, an immediate, unthinking reaction happens. Let us be very clear about what this looks like in your own life. The stimulus: someone cuts you off in traffic. The immediate reaction: your heart hammers in your chest. Your knuckles turn white on the wheel. You are filled with a hot, instant anger, and you lay on your horn. The stimulus pulled the string, and you danced. The stimulus: you open your inbox and see a critical email from your boss. The immediate reaction: your stomach drops. You feel a wave of anxiety, of defensiveness. Your mind begins racing, formulating excuses. You are already in a state of agitation. Your peace stolen by a few lines of text on a screen. The stimulus: you try something new and you fail at the task. The immediate reaction: you feel a cold flush of shame. An internal voice immediately says, "I'm not good enough for this. I knew this was a mistake." The urge to quit, to retreat to what is safe, is overwhelming. This loop even governs our good feelings. The stimulus: someone gives you a compliment. The immediate reaction: you feel a rush of validation, of pride. You feel good. But even this good feeling is not your own. It was given to you by an external source, and that which can be given can just as easily be taken away. This is life inside the reactive loop. In this loop, you are a puppet. External events are pulling your strings. Your boss, the news, the driver in the next lane, your own memories. They are all, in effect, your masters. You have no true control. You have no real freedom. Your internal state, your peace of mind, your happiness, your emotional well-being, all of it is left to chance. It is entirely at the mercy of what the world decides to throw at you on any given day. If the day is good, you feel good. If the day is bad, you feel bad. You are a leaf in the wind, a ship without a rudder. This is the default setting. This is the cage. And most people will live their entire lives inside this loop, never even realizing that a door exists. They will spend their energy trying to control the world around them, trying to stop bad emails from coming, trying to make other drivers behave, trying to prevent failure. It is a fool's errand. It is an exhausting, impossible task. You cannot control the world. You cannot control other people. But you do not have to. The path to power is not in controlling the stimulus. The path to power is in breaking the loop. The solution is not complex, but it is profound. It is the one thought that introduces a new, critical element into that ancient formula. It is the thought that gives you back your freedom. Part 2. The one thought, the power of the pause. In the last section, we defined the prison, the reactive loop. The formula of stimulus leads to immediate reaction. Now I will give you the key to your freedom. It is a key that has been known by the wisest philosophers, by survivors of immense hardship, and by the most effective leaders in history. This key is not a new action. It is not a complicated technique. It is a single thought. A thought that creates a new formula for your entire life. The old formula was, stimulus leads to reaction. The new formula, the formula for a conscious life, is this. Stimulus leads to a pause, which leads to a chosen response. Look at that formula again. Stimulus, pause, response. The stimulus has not changed. The world will still throw at you what it throws. The new revolutionary element is the pause. It may only last a single second, but in that second, your entire world changes. What happens in that pause? You deploy the one thought that can change your entire life. And that thought is this: I cannot control what happens, but I can choose my response. Say it, understand it. I cannot control what happens, but I can choose my response. This thought is the act of reclaiming your power. It is the acceptance of reality. You cannot control the traffic, the email, the past. You stop fighting an impossible battle. And in the same breath, it is the ultimate declaration of your sovereignty. You and you alone are in charge of what you do next. You are in charge of the meaning you assign. You are in charge of the state you inhabit. The psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, who endured and observed human nature in the most extreme conditions imaginable, said it best. He wrote, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space is the pause. This is everything. That tiny fraction of a second between what happens to you and how you react to it. That is your power. That is your freedom. In the reactive loop, that space is non-existent. The stimulus and the reaction are fused together. You are a machine. Push button, get reaction. The one thought, I can choose my response, is what creates that space. It pries apart the stimulus and the reaction. And in that space, you stop being a puppet. You start being a human. Let us return to our examples. The stimulus, you are cut off in traffic. The old you would have reacted instantly with anger. But now, the stimulus occurs. The pause happens. You feel the flash of anger, but you observe it. You deploy the thought, I cannot control that driver, but I can choose my response. And in that space, you choose. You choose not to let a stranger's bad driving ruin your day. You choose not to flood your body with stress hormones. Your chosen response. You take a calm, deep breath. You let it go. You remain in peace. You have won. The stimulus. The critical email arrives. The pause. The thought, this is unpleasant, but I will not react with fear. I will choose my response. Your chosen response. Instead of firing back an anxious, defensive reply, you close the email. You stand up. You walk for 2 minutes. You decide to look at it again in an hour with a calm, logical mind. You have protected your peace. You have retained your power. The stimulus. You fail at the task. The pause. The thought, this feeling of shame is just a reaction. I can choose my response. Your chosen response. You look at the failure not as a verdict on your character, but as simple feedback. You choose curiosity over shame. Why did this happen? What can I learn? How can I do it better? This is the shift. This one thought, this creation of a pause, is the difference between being a victim of your life and being the architect of it. The victim says, look what they did to me. Look what this situation did to me. I had no choice. The architect says, this situation happened, and now I will choose. This is not easy. It requires awareness. It requires practice. Your old wiring is strong, but it is simple. It is one thought. It is the thought that separates the master from the slave. It is the thought that breaks the chains of your past, of your habits, and of other people's opinions. I cannot control what happens, but I can choose my response. This is the key. This is the power. Now you must learn how to use it. Part 3. How to practice the pause. We have the diagnosis, the reactive loop. We have the antidote, the one thought that creates a space. Now we must do the work. That space, that pause between stimulus and response, is your new territory. For most of your life, it has been an overgrown, unexplored frontier. Our goal is to clear it, to widen it, and to build a home there. This is not a passive process. This is the work of a lifetime. You are building a new mental muscle. Like any muscle, it is built through one thing: intentional, consistent repetition. At first, it will feel weak. You will fail more often than you succeed. This is to be expected. But with practice, that space will widen. What was once a hairline crack will become a vast, open field. A place where you have room to breathe, to think, and to choose. I am going to give you 3 practical, simple techniques. Not to memorize, but to do. The first technique is the physical anchor. It is the tactical breath. When you feel the hook, when you feel that old familiar rush of anger or anxiety or defensiveness, your first and only job is to do one thing. Do not speak. Do not type. Do not move. Your only job is to take one deep, slow breath. In through your nose all the way down, expanding your stomach, and slowly, deliberately out through your mouth. This is not philosophy. This is physiology. That jolt of negative emotion is a biological alarm. Your body is preparing for a fight. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your breathing becomes shallow. The tactical breath is a conscious override. It is a physical signal you send directly to your ancient brain that says, "There is no tiger, we are not in danger, I am in control." This one breath is the physical action of creating the pause. It is how you pry apart the stimulus and the reaction. Before you do anything else, you breathe. You give your mind the oxygen and the moment it needs to come online. The second technique is what you do inside that space. The tactical breath built the room. Now you must furnish it. In that pause, you must replace your old emotional question with a new logical one. The old question was, "How dare they?" Or "Why is this happening to me?" The new question is this: what is the useful response here? Notice the word. Not the right response. Not the fair response. Not the justified response. The useful response. Useful, according to what? According to your goals. According to the person you wish to be. That driver cuts you off. The tactical breath creates the space. You ask, what is useful? Is it useful to arrive at your meeting angry, stressed, and distracted? No. The useful response is to let it go and protect your peace. Your boss sends the critical email. The tactical breath creates the space. You ask, what is useful? Is it useful to send an angry, defensive reply that escalates the conflict? No. The useful response is to wait, analyze the criticism objectively, and formulate a calm, professional, and strategic answer. This question, what is useful, is your new compass. It bypasses the ego. It bypasses the emotion. It points you directly toward your higher purpose. The third technique is perhaps the most important. It is the training ground. Start small. You will not master this in a moment of crisis. You will not build this muscle in the middle of a major life-changing argument. Do not expect to. You must build this muscle in the gym of small daily annoyances. This is where you do your repetitions. The goal is to practice the pause on low-stakes events so you have the strength for the high-stakes ones. Practice when your internet connection is slow. The stimulus, the loading wheel, is spinning. The old reaction, frustration, sighing, tapping your fingers, getting angry. The new practice, you notice the frustration. You take the tactical breath. You ask, what is useful? Is it useful to get angry at my computer? No, it is useful to be patient. Practice when you are in a long line at the store. The stimulus, The line is not moving. The old reaction, impatience, checking your phone, judging the person at the front. The new practice, you feel the impatience. You take the tactical breath. You ask, what is useful? I can either be miserable for 10 minutes or I can be calm. I will choose to be calm. I will simply observe. Practice on a misspelled text. Practice on a dish left in the sink. Practice on a loud noise. These are your training weights. Every time you successfully insert the pause, every time you choose a useful response over an emotional reaction, you have completed one repetition. You are strengthening the muscle. That is the work. It is a 3-step process. 1. Use the tactical breath to create the space. 2. Use the question, what is useful, to choose your response. 3. Practice this every day on the smallest annoyances you can find. This is how the one thought changes your life. Not by magic, but by practice, by discipline, by choosing again and again to be the driver and not the passenger. Conclusion, your life, your choice. We have spent this time together examining the very blueprint of our lives. We have seen that there are 2 paths, and only 2. The first is the default path, the reactive loop. Stimulus leads to immediate reaction. This is a life of bondage, a life where you are a puppet, and the world pulls your strings. And then there is the second path, the path of power, the empowered life. Stimulus leads to a pause, which leads to a chosen response. This is the great secret. This is the one thought that changes everything. Your life is not defined by what happens to you. It is not defined by your past, by your critics, or by your luck. It is defined moment by moment by what you do with what happens. Your peace, your growth, your character, your freedom, all of it is found in that one small sacred space. The pause between what you feel and what you do. This is where you stop being a victim and start being a leader. So I have one challenge for you. Not for next week, not for tomorrow, but for today. The very next time you feel that hook, that rush of anger, that jolt of anxiety, that sting of defensiveness, I challenge you to do just one thing. Do not try to solve the problem. Do not try to win the argument. Just practice the pause. Before you speak, before you type, before you act, take one single deep, conscious breath. That's it. In that one breath, you will have broken the loop. You will have taken back your power. You will have proven to yourself that you are no longer a slave to your emotions. Your entire life can change, not by changing your circumstances, but by fundamentally changing your response to them. It all starts with this one powerful thought. If you are ready to take back control of your life, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell for more videos on building a stronger, more intentional you. Thank you for watching.